on this episode of Brown Professionalism.
Cool. So, do you have any final parting words before we jump off of this episode?
Just one more piece of advice for self-efficient women. Listen to your friends that are true friends that have been your ride or dies, because they may see red flags that you don't, or the ones that you're, like you said, willingly ignoring. Because I've done that, and my friends pointed out red flags, and I just kept driving along. And then when it got to the point where I was seeing the red flags too, and I went to them, they was like, "Yeah, maybe you should cut that, let that go." So don't be afraid of listening to your friends. Don't write them off and think that they're just they don't want you to be happy. Because if they're your true friends, that's definitely not the case. They are seeing things that trouble them, and they're concerned about you. So listen to your friends, male or female, that are your ride or die friends, not your associates, just random people that listen to the ones that have been there.
I mean, yes, because you'll tell a friend something and you're really trying to look out for them. You just a hater and they want to fight you. I'm like, I wasn't down at the Applebee's cheating. That was him.
Right. I was eating my own food and I looked over there and there he was.
Exactly. Or be like, why you didn't tell me? They said that you was, look, I have learned to pick which battles I want to fight with my friends, and I'm like, it depends on which friend it is that I might tell information to. But I have really enjoyed having this conversation with you, and I really appreciate you for coming on the podcast, for real.
Hey, did you enjoy this episode? Make sure that you follow us and you turn on the notifications so that you will know every time that we drop a new episode. Also, while you're following us, make sure you share this information with somebody who you think could use it. Also, if you don't think they could use it, they could really use it. So remember that sharing is caring. See you all in the next episode. Take care.
All right. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm really excited to be back with another live stream for us. Y'all, we have a lot to talk about, and in full transparency, I did this whole live stream and my mic was muted. So we're gonna do this again and it's gonna be great. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We have some really great things to talk about this week. I'm really excited to talk about some specifically, some, we just gonna lay some things out as they are, and we're just gonna keep moving. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Oh, before we jump right in, make sure that you go ahead and you like, you share, and you subscribe to the channel. I'm really appreciative of everybody who has liked the videos, who have shared the videos, and who have subscribed. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. I really appreciate you all taking the initiative just to hit the subscribe button, which is completely free. It's completely free. So thank you all so much for doing that. In addition to that, I'm also really grateful for those who have went ahead and began to support the channel by making small donations. I really appreciate those donations. And with those donations, in full transparency too, I really want to build a platform so that we can, have a dialogue. I can bring you all on to share your experiences with using these different streaming services. And not only streaming services, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know that I do different product reviews. And I want to make this a community where we can really review things that we are using on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we have so many streaming services out there right now where I feel like it's very fair for us to critique these different streaming services in a constructive way, of course, but for us to go ahead and really critique these streaming services so that they can know what the average consumer is going through as they use their different streaming services. And not only that, but I also think it's very important that we tell these other product people who make these products that we're using on a day-to-day basis what we think of these products so that they can make it better for us. I mean, we're using our hard-earned money to like keep them in business, so why not go ahead and tell them how we feel about the products in a constructive way, of course, and so that they can really try to use what we have to say here on the platform to improve the products for not only us who use these products, but other people who might be interested too. And also, with that being said, I really just want to make sure that I'm providing the best experience with you all with different mics and different lighting and so forth and so on. So yeah, any donation is appreciated, but thank you to everybody so far who have went ahead and donated. And if you don't have the means right now, because I do understand that things are tight, go ahead and do something free for the channel and help us get exposure by making sure that you like the video, that you share the video, and that also you subscribe. It's completely free. And honestly, I appreciate the subscriptions and the likes more than anything else. So if this is something that you see that you like, definitely do that. And even if you don't like, just go ahead and subscribe. Like, I promise I won't get on your nerves. But anyway, so let's jump right into it, because as I said earlier, I already recorded this one time before, and second time's the charm, or I guess, we'll do second time's the charm. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first we have Netflix, and y'all know last week we gave Netflix the work, but this week we are going to continue to give Netflix the work. So if you missed it last week we discussed how Netflix might be charging people $2.99 starting somewhere soon. I know they're testing this out in different countries for people who share their passwords and allow people to have access to the different accounts. If you do that, just know you might see a $2.99 charge on your bill. And if you don't want to see that charge, you do have the option of kind of saying like, hey, get your own, and you can't use my account anymore. And I think that's going to start a lot. So definitely go and check out that live stream if you missed it, so that you can really see the in-depth conversation that we had about it. But this week, we're talking about something that I kind of talked about last week too, by saying that Netflix might really want to consider actually having commercials on their platform. And Netflix is not necessarily saying never that this is going to happen or ever be on their platform, but it's something that they're not necessarily considering right now, but they're also saying like it might come, it might not. But anyway, this is the article that I'll be referencing for this particular video, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. So it says that Netflix used to completely reject the idea of adding a commercial supported tier, but executives appear to have warmed up to the idea just days after Disney announced plans to roll out an ad-supported version of Disney Plus in the future. Netflix CFO said that it's not necessarily being ruled out. In addition to that, it also said that we should not expect for an ad-supported Netflix to launch anytime soon, but we should also, as it says, not rule it out. And the article goes on to read that it's not like we have religion against advertising, to be clear. And it also says that it's not something that's in their plans right now, because they have a really nice scalable subscription model. And again, they said never say never, but it's just not in their plan currently. Now, I will say that Netflix has been one of the streaming platforms that a lot of people can really count on to just log on, go straight to the content, not have any interruptions. And I think a lot of people, including myself, when I had Netflix, I really appreciated that. I won't lie. I really appreciated being able to go and log on and binge watch or just watch a movie and not have to worry about anybody trying to sell anything to me. Now, with this as well, it's important to note that I think that Netflix have to really understand that they are not the only people in the game still. And with their prices being very, I'm not gonna say completely high, but compared to other streaming services, it's kind of high. They might want to really take into consideration starting an ad supported version, especially for those who might not be able to afford $15 a month or whatever other tiers they have, just so that they can really try to increase their revenue and possibly get people to stop sharing their password or accounts. So to continue to read the article, it says that the subject of an ad-supported Netflix came up when Newman was asked to respond to Disney's new plan to launch a version of Disney Plus with ads later this year. And it also says that it's hard for Netflix to ignore these moves because, you know, I mean, to me, it makes sense, but I'll just continue to read the article. And it says that, but now it doesn't make sense for us. And he joked about that he doesn't think that he'll get the ad supported Disney Plus himself. Now, when he made this particular comment, I do want to say that I felt like it was shaming people from different socioeconomic statuses who might not be able to afford $7.99 because they really do look at the bottom line. And not only do they look at the bottom line, but they also kind of, they understand that everything is going up except for the paycheck. And I feel like it also kind of showed people that some of these people who are running these companies are out of touch with the average consumer. And what do I mean by being out of touch with the average consumer? Yeah, $7.99 if you're a millionaire, assuming, allegedly, supposedly, whatever. If this person might be a millionaire, then $7.99, is probably nothing to this particular person. But to somebody who's making $35,000, $20,000 a year, even $40,000 or $50,000, $60,000 a year, $7.99 might be a bit costly. And if $7.99 is a bit costly, then $15 is costly. So to me, it's one of those things where if Disney is trying to put themselves out there to get more people to subscribe and be more socioeconomically friendly and to even boost their revenue, even though, it's the bottom line, it's the finances for everybody, then I feel like Netflix should definitely do that. So that was just my take on that little joke. I don't feel like it was a joke. I feel like it was a joke with a jab to those who can afford it. And I feel like it might send signals that Netflix is for an elite, group. But, I'll leave it at that. Allegedly, supposedly, all that good stuff. We're just commenting on what we see, right? So jumping right back into it. So Netflix is soon going to be alone among major streaming platforms without an ad-supported tier. So Paramount Plus, HBO Max, and even Discovery Plus, and eventually Disney. Even Hulu has an ad-supported tier. And, to kind of bring this home, they are the only one to not have an ad-supported tier. And I feel like when people have these ad-supported tiers, a lot of people are more inclined to sign up because then it doesn't cost that much and they can have more than one ad or streaming services if they have ads. So I feel like Netflix is kind of, spiting itself at this particular point so that it can prove a point to everybody else. And Newman even kind of alludes to this in the next statement by saying that, Newman believes that of Netflix rivals, they are losing out on money by offering lower price tiers. And I feel like they're not losing out on money. I feel like Netflix will probably end up losing out because this is not 5 or 10 years ago where Netflix was the only one in the game providing a great streaming option. You actually have a lot of viable tiers. And if you go back and watch some of my other videos about streaming and things of that nature, then you will actually see what I mean when I show those charts about how Netflix might be number one, but you have Disney Plus, Paramount, HBO Max, and so many others that are coming right almost neck and neck with it. And I feel like with a lot of these changes that we'll talk about tonight and in the weeks coming, Netflix might be in trouble. They really might be in trouble, especially when you consider that you can really bundle Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN onto one package for about $13.99 a month, which is still less than Netflix basic package. So we will go on. So in addition to that, the article reads, while Netflix continues to work without support from commercials, the service has passed the increase in cost of production onto consumers by raising prices in the United States and Canada. Newman admitted Tuesday that the most recent price jump was partly responsible for slow growth in the first quarter of 2022. At the end of the day, we're pricing for what we believe, not what the consumer believes, but what they believe is the value we provide. And he said, to defend the price jumps. But y'all, I just really feel like Netflix is really trying to just hold out to an idea that at this point I think is somewhat antiquated. Everybody has ads on their platforms, and I think people appreciate the option of either having a lower tier ad supported where they are able to fit it within their budget, and also enjoy that option of, okay, well, now I have a little extra money and I can kind of throw it at this particular streaming service so I don't have to watch ads. And I feel like Netflix is going to end up pricing itself out of the market, and it's going to become somewhat of an elite thing for people to have. And I feel like if this continues, Netflix, they're going to continue to have problems with people sharing passwords. It doesn't matter $2.99 or not. They're going to have an issue with people sharing passwords. And as I mentioned last week, they are going to find a way around. They were able to find a way around the authentication system that they tried to put on Netflix. They're going to find a way around $2.99. So it's up to Netflix to kind of just take a step back, see what the consumers are saying, especially the people on Twitter, because people are really trying to figure out the bottom line. Like, Netflix is going up, everything else is going up, but the paycheck is still remaining the same. And for some people, especially if you are an hourly worker, it's going down depending on where you are. So if you want to attract people, you need to kind of figure out what's best for your consumers. And as it says right here, what we're pricing, what we believe, not what the consumer believes, not the people who are subscribing believe, but what they believe is the value. And I feel like people do find value in Netflix, but I also feel like Netflix should find value in their subscribers by not raising these prices. Especially at this point, I feel like you're kicking a dog when it's down. Not trying to call people dogs, but just a phrase, you're kicking people when inflation, we have, so much going on right now, right? And you want to raise prices because you need to stay in business. When some of these other, we'll talk about it in a minute, some of these other streaming services are providing different discounts, and not only discounts, but adding more and reducing their packages so that people can still want to stay subscribed to them. I just feel like Netflix is, I used to like Netflix. I still do enjoy Netflix. I enjoy the content, but I feel like some of these moves that they have been making, and I'm not the only one who feels like this, I don't know if it's benefiting the consumer or the people who believe that they are providing great quality content and a user experience. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead to our next docket item, which is Disney Plus. So with Disney Plus, and this right here is actually from a link that I was sent from Disney Plus because I am a Disney Plus subscriber. So if you are a Disney Plus subscriber and you've been trying to get down to the Magic Kingdom, definitely check this out. Check your email, check your app, because this is a great offer, I believe. And so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Disney Plus subscribers can stay in the Magic and save. And as a Disney Plus subscriber, you can save up to 25% on rooms at select Disney Resort hotels for stays between July 8th through September 20th, 2022. And it goes on to say that with your particular stay as a guest, you'll be able to stay on Disney property and you'll get certain perks, such as being able to get early entry into the park 30 minutes before. And as somebody who just came from the Magic Kingdom as well as Epcot about a month ago, I would say that in those parks specifically, those it's worth it. It's worth staying on property. And if you can use this deal to get down there to experience the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, the other parks, they're slipping my mind right now, but the other parks during the 50th anniversary, seeing the statues, seeing the parades, seeing, and tasting some of the different foods and things of that nature that they have put together, I think it's worth it. And the 30 minutes in the park really allowed for us to be able to get on a number of rides before a lot of people came into the park. In addition to that, it really allowed for us to take some pictures in front of the castle and other statues around the park without having a lot of people or any people in our background. And it just made for a great experience. When the park really got full, we had really rode a lot of the rides we had wanted to ride that, during the park times that, it was open. So I just really feel like we were able to get on, I think at Epcot we got on almost all the rides. It's up for Ratatouille and Frozen, which we didn't necessarily want to get on those in the first place, but we got on the other rides. And I think in the Magic Kingdom, we were able to get on all the rides except for Jungle Cruise. And I didn't necessarily want to get wet because it was already raining that day. So I was like, let me not take a risk with Jungle Cruise. But for the most part, I think the 30 minutes is definitely worth it. And the thing also is important to note for this particular deal that park admission and the reservation that you now need is not included in this offer. So make sure that if you do want to go and you want to use this deal, that it's only for the hotel. It's not for your park admission and it's not for your reservation. And if you are going down to Disney World right now, you will need a park reservation. So even if you buy a ticket, make sure that you go ahead and you reserve time and day that you want to go, because buying a ticket and saying, oh, I'll just go on whatever day, you may or may not get into the park depending on if it's at capacity or not. So just want to throw that out there, because some people, they'll show up and then they won't be able to get in. And I don't want that to be you, especially if you use this deal. And there are a lot of other Disney vloggers and bloggers out there that can explain it much better than I can. So definitely go ahead and, reach out to them and watch those videos. In addition to that, I also want to mention that there is a list of different Disney hotels that they have where you can get different savings. So let's jump right into this. So this is what I saw on my screen, and it will actually take you to a screen where you can check the availability, as well as if you already have existing reservations on or for you to go to Disney, you can see if you can apply this special offer to your current reservation. So this is something that I think is pretty cool for them to allow us to do. Now, in addition to that, if you do decide to book online, or you can contact your travel advisor, make sure that you do use the email that's associated with your Disney Plus subscription so that you can get this valid offer. Now, some of the hotels that they have, depending on where you want, or the resorts rather, depending on where you want to stay, will depend on essentially where you will get the most bang for your buck, I assume, or I will just say. So for instance, if you stay at more of a Disney Deluxe, villa or resort, you will save about 25%, and you'll see those on the screen. So you have Animal Kingdom Lodge, Boardwalk Inn, Contemporary Resort, the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, the Riviera Resort, as well as the Yacht Club Resort. And if you stay at more of like a moderate resort, you'll save about 20%. If you want to stay at more of a value resort, it's about 15%. And those are your all-star movie, music, sports resorts as well as Pop Century resorts. And you can also save 10% if you stay at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort, Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, as well as the Wilderness Lodge. And I would say that I think this is pretty cool. I appreciate how Disney is trying to at least try to it's definitely not giving back, but at least offer some type of discount. And I'm actually trying to figure out if I can squeeze this into my schedule to go down there, because I had a really great time when I went earlier this year, and I wouldn't mind necessarily going back. And hopefully, if I can't go, they'll provide another discount of this sort, or just a discount in general for people who might want to travel later in the year or even early next year. So I thought that this was pretty cool, and I definitely want to make sure if you have a Disney Plus subscription that you knew about this. So let's go ahead and jump right into our next docket item, which is Plex Movies and TV. And I'll be real, I never heard of Plex before. And not only have I never heard of Plex before, but I'm like, I don't know where Plex came from. Apparently, a lot of people knew about Plex. I didn't know anything about it. So the quick rundown of Plex is a streaming service where you can watch different movies and live TV, and they have a lot of content for you to watch all in one space. They do have a free version and a paid version from what I was able to see. And not only that, but it's supposed to be device friendly. So you'll be able to use your Roku, your Amazon Fire TV, as well as your Android or your iOS device, as well as a Comcast, PlayStation, Xbox, Samsung, LG, Vizio, all the works, right? So it's supposed to be very device friendly. And you're supposed to have access to content from across the world. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, they do have some updates that we will be talking about for this particular live stream, where they are introducing a couple of new features where you'll be able to add all of your streaming services into this particular streaming service, I guess is what you want to call it. And then you'll be able to kind of it wants to be a one-stop shop. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the article. And the article essentially reads that they have some huge updates about being able to watch a universal watch list, and provide a cross-service search, as well as new discovery features. So what you will see up here in the top left-hand corner is basically they want you to put all of your streaming services in, and then they want you to select your favorite ones. And then from there, what they will do is curate a list of things that they believe that you will like, so that instead of you having to scroll on Disney Plus and say, okay, well, I can't find anything on Disney Plus to watch, let me go to Netflix. Okay, I can't find anything on Netflix, let me go to Hulu. From Hulu to HBO Max. Now they will put everything in one place, and you'll be able to watch everything. So to kind of just read the article really quickly for you all, the streaming media platform Plex is expanding on its mission to serve as a one-stop shop for media entertainment, with the launch of new features designed to help users discover content to watch across their streaming services, to save titles to a universal watch list, which I think is really good, because I know I put things on my watch list all the time and I completely forget about them. I'm not even gonna sit here and play. Like, I forget about them. And not only do I forget about them, but sometimes I forget to put them on my playlist, and it's like months later when I'm like, oh yeah, like I have a movie that I might watch today or this weekend, because I'm like, oh yeah, I put this back on my playlist in December, and I guess, I'll watch it now because I just remembered that I put it on my playlist. So to continue to read the article, the company believes the additions will make Plex more useful in today's increasingly fragmented streaming service landscape, where it's hard to keep up with what is available to watch on what streaming service, especially with all of the licensing deals expiring, such as the deal that we talked about last week with Netflix and NBCU. And It's saying that everybody has their content and exclusive. Things are moving around from one service to the next. And how are we expected as users to navigate this? And I think this is a very important question that we should really be asking. Like, how are we, or not even us, but the people who are creating these different streaming services should be asking these questions. How are we able to navigate this? Because, like, it's hard for us to navigate. It's very hard for us to navigate. And not only is it hard for us to navigate, but as I mentioned earlier, we'll put something on a watch list, forget about it. Or you might say, oh, I need to watch this, or I can't find anything on Hulu. And we get fatigued, and then we just turn the TV off, or we just put it on something and just let it play in the background while we do something else. So I feel like, Plex might really be onto something here. So I'm definitely interested in trying Plex out, the free version, of course. But, I'm interested. It has my attention so far. So it says that at launch, users will be able to go through a brief onboarding process where they will be able to select various streaming services they have access to, both free and paid. And this helps Plex to personalize and really curate some features for you all so that you really don't have to be fatigued by going through all these different platforms. So to go into the next part of the article, it really says that, to be clear, Plex is not working with any particular streaming service right now to integrate anything. They're just using data from what they kind of curate from what you put into, I guess, your onboarding package when you sign up. And it really tries to personalize things for people. And I think that's really cool. And the reason that I would be interested in trying Plex is to kind of give you all a really thorough review. However, if it required me to pay, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it because the simple fact that Apple TV, if you have Apple TV, it kind of does this for you. I know for my Apple TV, if I log into like the Apple TV app, it kind of shows me things I've watched in the past, things that I might be interested in, what's trending. And even if I scroll over on different apps on my Apple TV, it kind of has trending things I might be interested in for me to watch already. So, that's the only way I would use Plex if it's for free, because I have an Apple TV and it does that for me already. But I do think it's pretty cool that they were curated for you. They will create watch lists for you that's universal, regardless of what streaming service you might be interested in watching said movie or TV on. And I think it's also cool that it will provide other recommendations like, what's for the family, or what's kid friendly, or what might be trending right now, what you might want to watch for X, Y, and Z. So, and it also allows you, this is something I forgot to mention too on the other slide, it also allows you to save things that might be coming out in the future on your watch list so that you don't kind of forget. So I definitely think Plex is something worth checking out. I'll check it out, the free version, of course. And I'll let you all know, I'll do a separate review, not a live stream for that, so that we can get a thorough review. So next, what we have to talk about is Hulu. So with Hulu, if you are a Hulu Plus Live TV subscriber, you have some new things happening for you on April 13th. So on April 13th, essentially, if you are a Hulu Plus TV subscription member, you will not only, I think right now you already have Disney Plus as well as ESPN content that you have availability to go ahead and watch. But on April 13th, you'll have unlimited DVR. And the really cool thing about this is that I believe that you'll be able to have said whatever you save on there for about 9 months to watch. And then, you just don't have access to it anymore unless you resave it. But the really awesome part about this is I believe that I believe that Hulu is really trying to look out for the consumer, because it says that if you already have any type of enhanced DVR cloud, whether it's the $9.99 package or the $14.98 per month package, then you'll see a bill reduction starting on April 13th, because now it's pretty much unlimited for everybody and you don't have to pay the extra. And I feel like Hulu is low-key looking out for people. Now, I will say, even though I really like Hulu plus live TV, it's pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive. So I do think having to pay the additional $10 or $15 a month, it's not ideal. But I do appreciate how they are reducing this and actually eliminating this, and providing unlimited DVR for those who now have or who do have Hulu plus live TV. And I also feel like they're trying to make themselves more marketable, especially with NBCU taking a lot of content off of Hulu. But I think this is cool. So not only do you have, the 80 plus channel lineup, but you have Disney Plus and ESPN now you can watch, plus unlimited DVR. So I think it's a win-win. It's a win-win for Hulu. Also, I think it's a win-win for those who might be interested in actually getting Hulu plus live TV. That's a long thing. Like, that's a long thing. But lastly, on the docket is HBO Max, and it's not a lot to talk about here. It's really not. Essentially, HBO Max now has a new iOS app that is supposed to be user-friendly for Apple TV. And I think that's really great. I mean, I don't watch HBO Max. I don't have HBO Max app, but I feel like from what I read in this article and what some of the some of the comments said, a lot of people, they said they unsubscribed from HBO Max simply because, hey, they were like, it wasn't a pretty user-friendly app. So now it's supposed to be a revamp. It's supposed to be more modern. And hopefully that will attract more people to actually want to get HBO Max or stick with HBO Max. So we'll see. It's supposed to be coming, I believe, if not this week, maybe in the next week or so. So we'll see what happens. And not only that, but if you are an Amazon Fire TV device person, or even if you just watch it on the web, you're supposed to get a revamp too. Now, the question that I have about all this is, so about a week or two ago, I did a video about how HBO Max and Discovery Plus was supposed to be, combining, merging together, and all that good stuff. So, why sit here and put all this emphasis into, revamping the app if you are about to combine, the two? But that's just me. Like, is it because you wanted, to provide a better user experience right now? Was it like a waste of resources? I don't know. I just have questions. And maybe they're doing this because it might take them longer to merge Discovery Plus HBO Max like they were thinking, but we'll see. And these are pretty much all the updates that I have for you all, but definitely drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the whole Netflix thing. Like, do you think they should go ahead and get commercials so that we can just, have, a different tier for people who want to have Netflix and not necessarily share? Because I really feel like most people would rather have their own Netflix, because if you ever share Netflix with anybody else, that, if they give the password to somebody can log into your account, start watching different things, and then, it mess up your whole little trending and what to watch, what they recommend to you. Or you don't have to worry about somebody else, looking at what you're watching. Like, I mean, you don't have anything on there, that, you shouldn't be watching in the first place, I don't think. But sometimes you just want to have like some privacy, right? So I don't know. I think Netflix should just go ahead and just get those commercials. I'm not about to make this any longer than what it is. But also, I just want to hear what you all have to think. I want to see what you all have to think. I want to know how you all feel about these. What other streaming news have you found out this week that you think that we need to talk about? So make sure that you go ahead and you like, you share, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, definitely go ahead and do that. And I will see you all, I guess, next week. I might go ahead and try out Plex. I'm not sure. I might. It really just depends. I might try it out later on. I might try it out next month. We'll see. So anyway, make sure that you go ahead, you like, you share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video.